Okay, so I think where we left off with this truck, I had took it on a little drive. I swapped the stock cam back in the motor just so that I could drive it. And I was still waiting on the HP tuners at that point. I do have the HP tuners now, and it is hooked up to the truck and I want to start messing with it. But before I do that, I really would like to swap the cam that I had bought back into the motor, just so I could, you know, have a little more chop to it, maybe a little more power, just have a little more fun with it. If I'm gonna mess with the HP tuners, it might as well be with the cam that I want in the motor. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fire this thing up for you guys. It still is not running real great. I took it to the store the other day and it was backfiring like crazy. It's dumping too much fuel or something. It's a little bit embarrassing driving it around. Sometimes it seems like it needs to relearn things, and it'll be super boggy when I get on the throttle, and then all of a sudden from a stop I'll be able to just blow the tires away. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but hopefully the HP tuners will be able to figure, and I'll be able to figure that out as well. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to fire it up here for you guys. We'll see if I can show you kind of the rough running. Sometimes it runs good, sometimes it doesn't. We'll see if it does anything for us here. So let's see if it fires up for us and if we can hear what it sounds like. So you can hear it don't sound too bad. It sounds decent. It's just, oh, there you go. It's doing some popping. It'll just backfire every once in a while. Smells super rich. Yeah, so either way, and then I'll just show you a sec. Oh, yeah, there you go, another backfire. So that's what it does. It just kind of, it's just, I don't know, boom, wow, there you go. So you can see I got the HP tuners right here. I did buy yeah, this thing's running like junk. Let me just see if I can. I'm gonna turn it off. I really don't like this, but so anywho's, you got the HP tuners here. I will tell you, I am allergic to computers, so this is gonna be a rough road. I'm gonna be kind of learning as I go. Hopefully I can figure this thing out. Like I said, I got the HP tuners that plugs right into the OBD, and then I've got the wideband gauge right here. I'm going to get that all put in, and that comes with its own O2 sensor. So I believe supposedly I'm going to need that to be able to tune correctly, so I figured I might as well get that. Because I want to show you guys the cam that I've got. I bought this thing for $100 off of Craigslist, and I asked around. I called a bunch of the cam companies and nobody knew what cam this was. I did run it in this motor a little while, and I just ran it in like a 03 Chevy pickup just to test it with this cam. It ran basically like how you would expect a cam to run. It would stall on me at stoplights, and had a nice chop to it. But I don't know if you can see this real well. I'm not sure. These numbers are just etched in the front here. Oh, there we go. And I'm not sure what to make of them. Maybe somebody will see this and be able to tell me or give me a little more info. Even some of the cam companies I called, they were just kind of guessing at it. And they were like, I'm not really sure. And then it's got a number right here that says Oh, what's it say? 315 704. See if I can get a better. 315 704. And then on the back here, oops, we've got 391 435. And then looks like below that, which you could barely see anymore, is like maybe a 39, and then a space, and then 4, and then 5 possibly below that. I don't know if there's any other numbers that were in there. But yeah, like I said, I did run it for a little while. It was fun, but obviously needed tuning to be able to run it well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and throw that back in here. I'm going to pull the stock cam back out, throw that cam back in, and then and we're going to learn how to run this HP tuners with that cam. So I can't run this thing that well anyways with the stock cam, obviously. You heard the way it was running. It runs like junk. So I'm going to get set up, swap that cam, and then hopefully we can fire it up and see what it sounds like with the cam, and then we'll start messing with this thing. Okay, so basically what I got to do up here to get the cam out is I'll take the radiator out. I already drained the coolant out of it. I'll take the cold air intake off of there and all that. And then pretty much I just got to pull the water pump and the front cover, and I should be able to, I'll put the 2 sticks in there to hold the, I guess I'll have to take the valve covers off and then undo the rockers, and then I'll just put the 2 sticks in there to hold the lifters up, and we'll be able to swap that cam out. So I'm gonna get to work on that, and hopefully we'll be back up and running here shortly. These harmonic balancers aren't too hard to take off of here. They got little notches. If you got one of these 3-fingered pullers, they got little notches on the back side of them. And I usually just throw a long skinny bolt in the crank snout, and it comes out pretty easy just with this. And when I throw it back in, I just heat it up to 300 degrees with a torch, and it slips right on there by hand all the way in. So not too awful bad. Should be just about ready to come off of here. There it is. Boom. Okay, and off comes the front cover. All right, so we're at the point where we're going to be throwing these dowels in here to hold up the lifters. And basically what you do, there's 2 holes here. You slide the dowel in, spin the camshaft around if you need to pop that lifter up into the lifter tray. And basically this dowel sits right in there to hold the lifters up. Got one for each side. Just throw this one in, and I already measured, but we're gonna spin this cam around a little bit to make sure we're not missing any lifters, so that we don't hold our other cam from sliding all the way in there. Now we can basically pull this cam out, throw the other one in, and we won't have any interference. And then when the other cam's in, we just pull these back out and we're good to go. This is the reason why you pull the rockers off, so that it can pop those lifters up. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a bolt or 2 in that cam. We're going to pull it out, and then I'll get the new one, and we'll basically just swap it out. So throw maybe just 2 of these in here. You don't want to drop them, they might end up in your oil pan. Okay, here we go. All right. Ooh, shnikes, I don't like that. Now you gotta be super careful. And obviously that was not good. There we go. Okay, oop. I have to pull these bolts out. I don't got much clearance on this side. So, last little bit here. And there she is. So this is the stock cam. Let's go wrap this up and get it put away. Alright, so I'm going to throw a little bit of assembly lube on this thing. And we're going to shove her in there. Okay, so we got assembly lube on here. I'm going to do the same, just the reverse of the deal I just did. And we are going to slide this cam into place. Once we get in far enough, I'm going to throw those bolts in if I need to, just to get it in its final resting place. I think it will. Okay. As you can see, it really wasn't that hard to throw this one back in place of the other one. Alright, let's see. Okay, there we go. And there she is. Perfectly in place. So now all I gotta do is I'm gonna clean off these the surface area here before I put all the plates back on and everything. Pull the dowels out, and we'll start slapping this thing back together. Alright, so I think I'm good to pull these dowels back out. And you might wonder how you know all the lifters are good there. If the cam goes all the way back in place, you know the lifters are still sitting up there, so that would have blocked it pretty quick. Alright, so now I'm going to start just slapping parts back on here. I'm going to clean all this up a minute, start slapping things back on. See if we can't get it back up and running today. Alright, so I'm pretty sure I've showed this in a past video before. But basically, I got a welding glove here, and then I got a torch. Usually I have a heat gun, so I can check the temp. Not a heat gun, a temperature checker, I guess. And that way, I usually just do this until it reaches 300 degrees on the temperature of the metal. But let's go ahead and just spend a couple minutes and heat this thing up, and then I'll show you how easily it slips onto the crank snout there. Basically, you just I just keep twisting it around like this, just keeping that flame on the metal. It expands it, and then it slips right over that snout. So I'll do this for a couple minutes, and then we'll throw it on the crank there. Okay, so I think she's hot enough here. Boom, all the way on. And now, basically all we need to do is throw this bolt in, sink it down, and we're good. That should do. There you have it. So now we can move on to the water pump. Alright, last step. Putting the air filter back on. And then we'll be able to hopefully do a test fire even before we start tuning to make sure this thing's going to run. Okay, so everything's back together. Not sure how this is going to go because when I did it before, it wouldn't stay running. And that's when I just swapped out to the stock cam. Either way, let's give it a test fire. Regardless, we're going to try to hook up the HP tuners after that. So let's just give it a test fire here. can't believe it. This was actually a huge diff from that stock cam. It sounds way better. Seems to be even running better. So obviously we probably still want to hook up the HB tuners and try to do a little work on it. But this thing sounds great.